Hi, this is James Zhang with Old Capital, and today I'm here with William Hubbard of CBRE, and we're going to be talking about a new deal that just came out called Ranch at Joyce Lane. So, William, maybe to kick it off, maybe give people a little bit of your background, and then we'll jump into this new deal.
Yeah, James, I first and foremost really appreciate you having me. It's an honor to be here and talk about this deal. More importantly, just a little bit about myself. My name is William Hubbard. Currently work for CBRE on our multifamily investment sales team alongside Chris DA directly, but also with some other team members such as Danny, Chandler, Kevin, and Jeremy. And then my kind of background, I've been in the multifamily broker space called for almost 3 years. Really, I went to military school up in Virginia, graduated there in 2017, came back to Dallas where I'm from, and worked at a smaller firm here for about 2 years. And then early last year, kind of hectic, right in the middle of COVID, I ended up getting paired up with Chris DA and got kind of hired onto the team. And so been working alongside with them ever since. So been
All
at
right.
CB for about a year or so.
No, that's perfect. So, you'll always remember the year you started. So I love
Yeah,
it.
I know, right?
So let's jump into this deal. So Ranch at Joyce Lane, 64 units up in Denton. So explain a little bit about Denton and sort of how you get up there and sort of what sort of drives that market.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, where to begin? Honestly, there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to Denton. This has been a very interesting submarket that we've been keeping a close eye on for a while. Just not only just due to just the massive amount of employment sources, but looking at the population growth has just been tremendous. I mean, it's a very rapidly evolving submarket. I think in this past business cycle, you've had nearly almost 40% population growth, one of the fastest in DFW, as well as top ranking in the nation when it comes to population growth. The heartbeat of Denton is really kind of boils down to the two universities, Texas Women's University, as well as North Texas University, totaling over about 50 to 55,000 students. So that's really the heartbeat of Denton. And it's interesting to see because if you just look at the past 5 years of Denton, there's been tremendous amounts of new development, especially along University Drive. You've had north of 1.5 million square feet of retail and over 60 projects of retail just built on University in the past 5 years. So it doesn't seem like it's going to be slowing down anytime soon. The economy is pretty diverse. You have the Peterbilt Motors headquarters there that has roughly around 3,000 employees. And then Sally Beauty's headquarters up there, which is about their distribution center and corporate office up there with about 1,000, 2,000 employees as well. So you have a lot of your employment centers and employment sources are pretty limitless when it comes to Denton.
All right. Yeah. I mean, sort of, you're going north. I live sort of in this, Plano Frisco area. So, I mean, you can get up there tollway to 380 or, 35 sort of splits when it comes into Dallas Fort Worth. And then it comes back out as you go north, goes right by Denton. And so sort of 380 and 35 sort of all converge into Denton. And it has, obviously two of the larger universities here in town and just a lot of retail in that area. So, plenty of drivers. So let's talk more specifically about this property. Sort of tell me a little bit about when the seller bought it, sort of what have they done to the property and sort of what's left to be done, I guess is the next question.
Yeah. No, great question. So the high level, the property is 64 units built in 1983. As you see in that top right picture, it's pitched roof, individually metered for electricity as well as HVACs. The current ownership, they bought it back in 2017. What they did is they actually took care of a lot of the heavy lifting of the asset. They replaced the boilers, which was replaced in 2018. They did a pretty heavy partial upgrade to about 48 of the units. They redid the siding as well as repainted the property. Replaced a lot of the HVAC units, and then also they resurfaced the parking lot. So a lot of the deferred has already been taken care of. And then previous ownership back in 2014 replaced the roof. But as far as the interiors go, current ownership did do an upgrade on 48 of the units, and we'll get to that here in a second. But they did granite countertops, black appliances, flooring, lighting, and also they renovated the bathroom to a certain extent.
Okay.
What I noticed, you went on to the interiors. What you're looking at here is really the properties boiled down between two different interior finishes out. One is those 48s I just discussed, which is on the right. And the only thing that the ownership did not do, that's kind of the last piece of the puzzle for those interior upgrades, are those cabinet fronts. They're still original cabinet fronts, and that leaves a little extra room to someone come in and do shaker style cabinet fronts, as well as black appliances. Suits very well for this market, but there's a lot of properties transitioning over to stainless steel. That would be something I'd heavily consider someone else doing as well. So you have two components there on the right, and then on the left, other than if you want to upgrade to stainless steel appliances from the black, that is definitely an option. But what you're seeing on the left is what we consider the 16 fire units. Those are open kitchen style floor plans with the flooring, the brown cabinet fronts, obviously new cabinets as well, and the backsplashes. And then the reason why they're so drastically different is because those units to the left were burnt down in a fire in 2015 and rebuilt from the studs up. So.
All right, so I'll pull up the unit mix here. So you can see we've got half one beds and then half two beds, and then some of them have been upgraded. So maybe talk about how the property is managed currently, and any other the physical characteristics of the deal.
Yeah, so right now the property is being managed by a third-party management company, U.S. Property Consultants. They have one leasing office and one maintenance personnel on site, and that kind of takes care of all the on-the-ground operations. Right now, they're actually currently, it's been kind of tough with our, launching this deal and putting it on the market. They've actually been increasing rents as we've been going through our marketing process. And we only launched it last week, put together the OM the week before. And since then, they already bumped rents up $50 upon all the unit mixes. And so we're going to be needing to update our OM here soon. But they've been doing a great job doing that. They have been achieving those new rents. It used to be $950 on the two beds. Those are now $1,000, and it used to be about $850 on the ones. Those are about $900. So.
Okay. All right. And then let's jump over to the rent comp. So this is sort of Denton North area. So the star, you can sort of see where the property sits right now. What are sort of maybe the top, 2 or 3 comparables as you come in, do a little bit more, whether it's stainless steel appliances or cabinet fronts? What do you think, rents can get to as you push on ones and twos here?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. Really as you can see here, the top 3 leading properties as far as a rent perspective is Cooper Glen, Coronado North, and Kingswood. Those 3 properties have been consistently performing day in, day out as far as all their unit mixes. And that's kind of the 3 properties that we are trying to triangulate, and we could see Rancho Joyce Lane achieving those rents here in the next 12 to 18 months. I actually just talked to the properties actually at the property earlier today, doing a few tours, and talked to property manager. And she said that if you give me 12 months, I can have these 2 bedrooms leased at least $1,150 to $1,200. So she seemed very confident in that. The rent comps do support it in that ballpark. That's a little aggressive, but I believe that she could get the job done, and the way that area is going, I think there's no reason to believe otherwise.
All right. So taking these guys up from the ones up to maybe, just under 1,000, and the twos up to that 1,100, 1200 range is the forecast. All right. And then so do come in, do the interior rehabs, maybe do updated cabinets, stainless steel appliances, any other income opportunities on the property?
Yeah, there's a few things that really come to mind just as far as a value add component, right? It's kind of what we just talked about. You want to finish out those interior, interiors on those 48 units, get a little bit rent increase there. And then as well as if you look through the rent roll as it translates today, they're charging the same amount of rents for those 16 fire units than as those 48. So it's our belief that there could be a pretty good delta between those 48 and those 16 fire units that just came online back in 2015, just with that open kitchen style floor plan and the nicer interior finish out. So I think you can have a lot of rent escalation on those 16 units and then obviously finish out those interiors. But then also a few other things is one is there's 16 washer and dryer connections at the property or units that have washer and dryer connections. And then also there's a one laundry facility that contract just expired. So back in January. Right now they're doing a month-to-month basis. New ownership has an opportunity to structure really however they see fit for the laundry. If they want to build back for those 16 units, they can. If they want to renegotiate a contract for the laundry facility, they're more welcome to do that as well. And then on the exteriors, you don't have any covered parking or carports. So that's another component that can be implemented.
All right. So do you guys have a whisper price? This deal is offered free and clear. Do you guys have a rough whisper price on the deal?
Yeah. So our pricing guidance right now is about 7.2 million, which is about 112 a unit and 158 a square foot. Kind of conversations I've been talking to, we're pretty confident that we're going to stretch a little bit north of that. So, but that's right now is probably the ballpark that's going to be shaken out at.
Okay. So yeah, at that price point, really we laid out three options here on the debt side, Freddie SBL, Fannie, and then non-recourse bridge. Freddie SBL, it's going to be a little bit lower interest rate and a smaller P&I reserve. So right now they're at a 12-month P&I. So on this deal, we're about 5.14 on the loan amount on a 7-year. And so depending on what prepayment structure, we just use a step down prepayment here. You're at about 3.6, 3.7. And so that gets you in that 70 to 75% LTV range on this deal. And then it would have a 12-month P&I reserve. On Fannie, Fannie right now it has a little bit higher interest rate. So that's going to restrict the loan amount down to probably that 65, 70% range. And it's going to have 18 months of P&I at this point. So probably not going to work on Fannie on this particular deal, but we wanted to show you that option as well. And then on the non-recourse bridge, some people are coming in anywhere from 75 up to 80% loan to cost on deals. And so if you're looking for a little bit more leverage on a floating rate, we're seeing terms around 4% starting. So 25 basis points over 375. As deals, non-recourse bridge loans get a little bit bigger in the maybe 10, 15, 20 million, we're seeing lower rates. But for a $5 million bridge, I think this is a good range, probably in that 375 to 4 starting rate with full term IO. So have you guys set a call for offers date yet, or do you have an estimated date?
Yeah. So call for offers, we haven't officially announced it, but just talking internally and talking to our client, I think we're going to pin down April 13th as a call for offers. So call it mid-April. It's going to be the deadline.
Do you know if the seller will take anything early?
I've received that question more than once, believe it or not. I'll tell you what I tell everybody. It's a conversation we're willing to have, but I can't guarantee you anything. So we're gonna, if we get a high flyer at the end of the day, maybe a little bit north we're asking, that's definitely a conversation we're willing to entertain. But I can't make any promises at this point in time.
All right. I appreciate you coming on, William, and sharing a little bit about the deal.
Yeah, James, always a pleasure. I really appreciate you.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.